Con sonar, noisemaker.
Okay.
072.
There we are. Well, now you should have just let me go again. That was just so unnecessary. Hello and good morning, and welcome back to coldwaters.mod with Captain Numpty. That would be me. Today I am going to jump back in to the very end of the Skipjack campaign that there's a video up on the channel about. Let's take a look. Should still, it's still here. Okay, now as I recall, we've got to get to square or sector 633, I think, and there's contacts in the way, so let's jump in and see where we're at. Yeah, okay, 633 it is. Right, I am going to go ahead and try and navigate my way around these enemy contacts. I didn't particularly want to tangle with anything, but here we are. I've got plenty of Mark 48s and 2 Mosses. I don't really want to use the Moss against whatever this thing is, so let's go ahead and I suppose we'll get everything configured and switch the torpedoes to tackle with submerged contacts. Like so, and let's go ahead and engage. If I can, I'm going to disengage immediately. I'm doing 20 knots. Right, let's try it.
On sonar, new contact bearing 1.
Rig ship for ultra quiet.
And I can't. Okay.
Come right to 043. Helm I.
On, I think we've been detected. Yeah, I think we have as well. So, well, let's get the towed array out. Let's see what these may be.
Con sonar, new contact bearing 256. Designated Sierra 3. Con sonar, new contact bearing. Con helm, steady course.
What is this? Okay, that is surface.
Con sonar, new contact bearing 271. Designated Sierra 5.
I'm trying to be mindful of not switching view.
Con sonar, new contact bearing 355. Designated Sierra 6. Con sonar, Sierra 4 is classified as submerged submarine.
Not switching view too quickly because I got some really great feedback. But the feedback was, hey, don't switch view so much. It's disorientating, and that's actually really good to know. Is this? It look like they're all Okay, it looks like we have one submerged contact and a bunch of airborne contacts. These are hopefully just civilian ships. Okay, that racket is so distracting. Let's see if we can identify what these are. Yeah, it's probably not an Endizen. It's probably a freighter or a trawler. I'm going with a trawler.
Con sonar, Sierra 1 is classified as merchant.
And that's a trawler
sonar,
too.
Sierra 6 is classified as merchant.
This alpha is above the layer. I'm going to get myself also above the layer as well, I think. I would like
Con
to...
sonar, Sierra 3 is classified as merchant.
Make depth 200 feet. Dive I.
Be nice if I could engage this guy and he doesn't even...
Come left to 346. Helm I.
Doesn't
Con
even...
sonar, Sierra 5 is classified as merchant.
Doesn't even know that I'm here. Or he maybe had an inkling I was here, but doesn't know that I'm here right now. Right. What else? Have we had? I think Wow. So my crew are very experienced. Look at that. They've identified everything. And they're reckoning that everything else is neutral other than his alpha. And I think he has no business in sniffing around me, so I didn't really want to tangle with the enemy, but I don't like alphas sniffing around me. And besides, I mean, it's nice to bag one. It's a beautiful looking boat. I mean, it's a weird class of submarine. These things will do 40,
Con, helm, steady course.
41 knots, I believe, is what they're showing us in this simulation. They can outrun the British torpedoes, easily outrun the British torpedoes. So they can be, to coin a British expression, slippery little buggers to deal with. And this guy, well, passively, he's going to detect me if I launch. But they don't have great sensors. Okay, he's dropping his depth. And we're almost at 200 feet ourselves, so I suspect he might drop below the layer, and if that's the case, we can also do the same. I think I'm going to turn a little bit more towards him. If I can get in his baffles.
Come left to 283, helm aye.
So that the Mark 48s, I can catch them. It's easier if he doesn't know that they're coming till the last minute, if indeed at all. He's doing 10 knots, so he's gonna get away from me. And I think he's dropping below the layer. Yes, he is. Okay, gonna do the same. Gonna drive it manually right now. And he's got no towed array. What's the depth of the alpha? 13. Okay, so he can
Passing 300 feet.
dive a lot deeper than I can, but he's not as though he can go incredibly deep. Oh yes, and those air-launched
Con, helm, steady course.
those air-launched torpedoes, they give him a great standoff ability, so if he has a hint that I'm here, he can drop one of those, or fire one of those at me. And, you know, here's a nice introduction to
Passing 400 feet.
a torpedo. I'm going to retract my towed array. I'm pretty much facing him direct. It's not doing anything for me right now, and if I launch, which I think I'm going to, I hope I don't regret needing that extra torpedo later, but if I launch, I'm then going to just duck out of the way. So my plan right now is, if I get in his baffles, which I'm getting there, I'm just going to go ahead and launch something at him.
500 feet.
Right, let's keep my depth. I guess we'll just let the skipjack just gently ease into about 550 feet. Let's actually pull it a little deeper. 530. The instrument at the very bottom left shows me my course 283. His bearing is 282, so we're almost pointing directly at him. He's almost completely, yeah, so now he's turned away from me. He can't detect me. I'm in his baffles. Now the instrument at the bottom right shows me that. This is the sonar computer contact box, sort of bottom left of the top grey silver section. His active is -50, his passive is also -50. I'm going to go ahead and launch. There's no sense in not, I don't think, so let's launch here. I'm going to guide this now. I say guide.
Shoot 2-1, aye sir.
I've got the wire attached. That's completely fine. I'm going to go ahead and just turn, I guess, north-northeast.
Come right to 009, helm aye.
Switch to the map view. And I really want to keep this torpedo in its baffle, so I'm going to sort of navigate the torpedo a little bit more northwest. And the idea there is if he continues to turn, great, but if he starts to turn the other way, I really want that torpedo to be behind him. Oh, and I should say, this is probably going to be a long video, so if you haven't already, maybe get yourself a drink and a snack or something similar. I may have a steaming hot coffee sitting on my desk, gradually cooling down. I hope I don't forget to drink this one. Part of me thinks, oh, you know
Passing
what?
600 feet.
Let's actually stop diving. I think I'm going to turn. No, I'm going to keep heading north. Let's just change my plan a little bit. It's basically point the skipjack class north. So now, arguably, that puts me in danger. Because if he detects, or when he detects this torpedo, its vector is going to point him straight back to me. Say arguably, I think it does put me in danger. He's 7,000 yards away. His weapon has that range, but it doesn't have, it's not wire guided. So what that means is that if he does detect me, he's going to fire at me. I've got lots of time to get out of the way. And right now I can run at flank speed and not cavitate. That's nice. That's the reason why I got my depth down to below, I think it's 560 feet for the skipjack at flank. Right, I am going to go ahead. Do I really want to stay? Yeah, I'm just going to stay where I am, I think. Oh boy, that's not good. Now, I don't know that he will have detected me. He shouldn't, but he's pinged actively. He's probably got whiff of that torpedo. Another ping. So it's still showing minus 50. But yeah, he's definitely going to know that this torpedo's on the way. I've just made the torpedo active. It's now seeking him. He's not going to detect me, but he can see where the torpedo's coming from. Switch to his view. Okay. I don't know why he got whiff of that. He shouldn't have, because well, maybe the torpedo, he could detect it, maybe. But he's not firing. Presumably because he doesn't have a clue where I am. And he still doesn't know where I am. I guess I'm gonna just turn towards him.
Come left to 279, helm I.
This is depth. Okay. So this Mach 48 is, it's gonna, it's turning it a little bit more towards his, as an intercept course. It's gonna detect him very soon. He says confidently.
Con, fire control, weapon
There
acquired.
we go. And now the torpedo drops to depth, so we'll switch to that view. Yep, drops to his depth in this case, and it's listening.
Con, sonar, launch
Okay.
transient from Sierra 4.
So he took a
Con,
shot,
sonar, launch transient from
2 shots,
Sierra 4.
and dropped a noisemaker. And that looks like a spread of torpedoes. See how they're diverging from the camera view? So let's take another skip back to the map. I don't see them, but they're coming my way. I don't really want to be present
Make turns for 15 knots, maneuvering I.
when they arrive, but I also want to make sure that this
Con,
torpedo
sonar,
hits him.
Con, maneuvering, making turns for 15 knots.
So we're running at 15 knots.
Con, sonar, lost contact. Sierra 6, last bearing 352. Contact faded.
Tempted to guide the torpedo onto him there, and I missed him.
Con, helm, steady course.
That's okay. I'm using the num keypad to just get the torpedo to turn. I'm gonna get back on his tail. Get my depth down, the torpedo's depth down a little bit. There we go. Right. Now I could go active on the torpedo. I've also
Con,
seen
fire control, weapon acquired.
this torpedo's getting pretty close to him. Or pretty close to me. So I'm now running at 15 knots. That's the fastest I can go.
Con, sonar, noisemaker bearing 290.
Pretty much guaranteeing I can keep my wire on the Mark
Con,
48.
fire control, weapon
Ah,
acquired.
I've got you now. Hopefully. Oh! Manually guide this thing on. Ah! Wow. Good
Con, fire
captaining
control, weapon countermeasure homing.
from the Alpha there. And the perspective's
Con,
difficult, so
fire control.
Con, sonar,
Got him.
noisemaker bearing 292.
got him, so I'm now running to flank.
Make turns for 30 knots.
Switch to my boat. As I know, I have 2 torpedoes, one of which is probably more of a threat than the other. But yeah, I'm now running up flank, so I've firewalled the throttle. I'm getting up to 30 knots. We really want to get out of this thing's way. Running perpendicular to the torpedo is the sensible thing to do. It creates the bigger...
Con sonar lost contact. Sierra 1. Last bearing 119. Contact faded.
I want to call that angle off, and what that means is that yes, if this torpedo is heading right at me, if I can demonstrate what that is. So, if I'm the torpedo and I'm heading right at me, as I move to the side like this, I'm basically moving out of its detection range as quickly as I can. Now of course, the torpedo can turn. It's going to turn towards me like this. And I can also change my depth, but essentially,
room, tube 1 ready.
if this is the torpedo's view and it can't detect me, I'm moving out of its cone,
Con maneuvering, making turns for 30 knots.
its detection cone as quickly as I can. Let's go back to here. Let's look at the view now. I don't know if that was the northern or the southern torpedo, but I know he launched 2. The other one's probably passive. There we go, that answers that. And I made the right choice by bumping up to flank, because had I have not increased my speed, right about now it would be looking right at me. This torpedo's not a threat. His detection range is maybe 1,000 yards. Optimistically, I think it's a bit less than that. That said, I'm not going to drop to 5 knots just yet, but I'm going to turn a little bit more west. We're trying to keep my flank towards the torpedo as much as I can. I'm actually just going to pretty much stop there. So if this torpedo were to suddenly start this snake pattern that they do, it's still not going to get me. And now I feel confident. Let's drop it back down to ultra quiet.
Rig ship for ultra quiet.
Didn't detect anything else out there, but that doesn't mean there isn't anything. It just means I didn't detect anything. Subtle but important distinction. Ask me why in the comments below. But yeah, there are times when I made an assumption there's nothing else out there, everything's fine. Yeah, and it was wrong. So Todari is coming out right now. We'll watch that get deployed. Like so. The dot mod does include animation for the Todari. The stock version doesn't. And we'll let that go.
Con sonar regained contact on Sierra 1, bearing 109.
That's 1 torpedo, 2 torpedoes, so...
Con sonar regained contact on Sierra 2, bearing 123.
So we'll look at these cargo
Con sonar
ships.
regained contact on Sierra 6, bearing 354.
I mean, it's Russian, so it's kind of a target, although it is civilian. And we're not really here to tackle civilian or freighters, but let's look at the description for Cosmonaut. Okay, the tween-decker design is specially suited to carrying military equipment and troops, and their high speed makes them excellent blockade runners. Well, he's only doing 16 knots, but he's still doing 16 knots. He can do 20. If this wasn't the final mission, I would be tempted to drop a torpedo at this thing, but I don't need to kill it. I may need that torpedo later. Yes, I have 15 sitting in my reserve, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to need a bunch of torpedoes, because if this end battle goes as well as the last, I'm probably going to end up spamming Mark 48s in the general direction of where I think the bad guys are. So yeah, we're going to let this thing go. It would be amusing to tackle it, but no. There's a trawler which we can't see, or maybe it's a stealth trawler. It might be one of those Russian air quote fishing trawlers, you know, the ones covered in antennas. There's another trawler which is also a stealth trawler. Oh, there we go. What's that? Oh, that's friendly. I think that's the Norwegian flag, and if it's not, wow, I am ignorant. Another trawler. which is Russian. I mean, that could be. I don't see a whole bunch of antennas on it, so I don't think it's a spy trawler, but yeah, it's another potential target. Anywho, we're gonna let them go. There's no sense in deliberately attacking these. Well, I mean, maybe there is, but I'm not going to. Suppose this hang on while.
Make depth 458, dive I.
Gonna get myself up to periscope depth, I think. I hope these torpedoes don't tackle these trawlers. That would be unfortunate for the trawler.
Con, dive at 458, dive I.
How deep is this? Looks like it's above the layer, maybe. Well, one quick look at Master 5. Where's the flag here? Okay. I don't know whether that's West Germany or East Germany, but either way. Okay, well, we've got the green button down here next to the active sonar, so
Downscope.
get all my sensors in for what it's worth, and we're going to conclude the battle. So, a lone alpha, we hope. Yep, a lone alpha, and we took care of it. And we got some more experience points as well. So experience is very useful. It really helps a lot of different features, how quickly you can repair damage, I think how stealthy you may be, how good your sonar is. We saw how quickly my crew identified the enemy there. Another one. I should pay attention. Hopefully it's another lone Russian submarine, but we'll see. I'll configure the torpedoes for submerged contacts. And we did that. 3 changes the torpedo mode. Then F and G with dot mod. F is the next tube and G is the former tube. You don't have the G shortcut if you don't have dot mod. Right, let's see what we're about.
Con, sonar, lost contact.
Rig ship for ultra quiet.
Again, Con, I think we've been detected as showing at the bottom right. Let's get my towed array out, got my speed down. Where was the contact?
Con, sonar, new contact bearing 117, designated Sierra 1.
So there was one at 186, which is south of
Con,
me.
sonar, new contact bearing 14.
Come left to 061. Helm I. Come left to 095. Helm I.
Okay, well, Sierra 1 is a submerged contact. That is a worryingly Mike-like signature. Nope, it's not a Mike. Okay, great. It might be a whale.
Con, helm, steady course.
So thinking Mike. Yeah, that's why I was thinking Mike, because it's got that double, but it's not. So I don't know that that's a submarine. I'm going to go with a whale. Yeah, there we go.
Con, sonar, Sierra 1 is classified as biologic.
Okay, and Sierra 3 is a submerged contact. It looks like it might be a Victor 1.
Con, sonar, Sierra 3 is classified as submerged submarine.
Okay, well, Victor 1 is not the biggest threat, but that doesn't mean I can ignore it. Because if he got wind of me, I think Sierra 2 is hopefully just...
Con, sonar, Sierra 2 is classified as merchant.
The crew beat me to it, so it's a merchant. Okay, so we have a whale, a Victor 1, and a merchant. Let's see if we can see what this merchant is. Okay. So it's friendly. Okay, and wow, and we've got the Victor 1 as well. He's moving at 10 knots. Let's take a look at this guy. I mean, yeah, he's still a target, but not. He's not going to detect me, right? Even at active, he's not going to detect me. So I think I'm going to actually. I'm not going to say I'm going to run away, but we're not going to tangle with.
Come left 2, 3, 3, 4, helm aye.
With this, I don't think we need to. So let's crank it up to. Okay, well, maybe we'll run. Maybe we'll run northwest.
Come left 2, 3, 0, 5, helm aye.
And we'll keep it at 5 knots just for a little bit. And that's not because I don't think he's going to hear me. It's I want to be able to hear him. We'll accelerate time here. Switch back to the map. Yes, he's gradually turning towards me, but.
Con, helm, steady course.
So if we look at my sonar computer bottom right, my active sonar, if I pinged him, would get 13 decibel return. My passive would get 4. Now, because I already know he's there, that is enough to be able to keep base with him. And my towed array is showing 11, so my towed array would detect him at least. If I increase my speed to 10 knots, well, let's try it. He's not going to hear me.
Make turns for 10 knots. Maneuvering aye.
So passive is 5 decibels and towed's 4. So the towed array is really not that effective at anything over about, well, 5 knots. So, yeah, I think discretion is the better part.
Con sonar lost contact. Sierra 3, last bearing 1.
Rig ship for ultra quiet.
Okay, now he may have slowed down and turned towards me. So I'm dropping back to 5 knots, and we're going to listen again, see if we can
Con sonar regained
him. There we
contact
go.
on. Sierra 3, bearing 1, 4, 9.
He's turning towards me, but 10 knots, 10,000 yards. He can't detect me, but I don't like the fact he's turning. Maybe he's clearing his baffles. Okay, that's good. I think he is just clearing his baffles. Hopefully he's going to turn away and keep going in his original course. Okay. Yeah, he's turning back towards me again. Yeah, he's got something, and then I drop my speed and change my course. I'll don't really want to mess with other contacts, and yet I feel like this could be a very long video if I don't
Come left 2, 180, helm aye.
introduce him to a Mark 48 with extreme prejudice.
Con, helm, steady course.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording, and we're going to stealthily sneak up on this guy. And these are things you don't often say in a skipjack, but yeah, I think we're going to do that. So I'll be back when something a bit more interesting is happening, or when I'm preparing to fire. So we'll be back in a jiffy. That's probably a jiffy's worth of time. So he's now turning south, which means he's presenting or potentially presenting his baffles to me.
Come left 2, 108, helm aye.
I'm going to turn a little bit more east with intention to basically get in his baffles. And when I launch, this time I'm going to basically turn northwest. So we're going to launch, we're going to turn likely starboard to try and keep my sensor detection on him. Don't put him in my baffles whilst my torpedo streaks towards him. So let's accelerate time and see how that pans out. He
Con, helm, steady course.
looks like he reversed his turn. Okay. Alright, well, that's not the end of the world.
Come right 2, 168, helm aye.
Still doesn't know I'm here, but
Con, helm, steady course.
the closer we get, the riskier that this becomes. Plus, the more stressful and risky it gets, the croakier my voice becomes. Let's take a sip of water whilst we wait for this. Okay, he turned towards me. Not good. That closes the distance, and slowly his detection ability is increasing. We're down to 7,000 yards. I think these are set 65-3s as a weapon he carries. Yeah, set 65-3 is the only weapon he's got that I have to worry myself about, unless I'm on the surface. If I'm on the surface, I've already been hit by something. Seeker range 880 yards, so call it 1,000. His range is only 17,500 yards, and I can do 40 knots. And he's turning west. Right, he may be about to turn a bit more south, which is good. Okay, there we go. So, see how his detection on me has dropped to -50. I'm going to go ahead and get a torpedo out. I'm going to fire it right at him, just in case we lose the wire.
Shoot 2-1. Aye, sir.
There we go. And I'm going to rotate, or turn to starboard, and guide this torpedo further south. The plan here is we're going to keep this torpedo in his rear aspect so he doesn't hear it in his baffles, and we're going to be in a different part of the map when he eventually detects the torpedo, because with him maneuvering so much, he's bound to detect it. If I draw a line behind his baffles right now, I'm very, very rough because I'm not great at this. I'm actually just extending it. This is the course we really want the torpedo to take, given his current course. He's modified his course slightly, so if you imagine that line extending behind his submarine, if you have a fairly modern car, at least I think modern cars do this, maybe older ones do as well, that have the sort of the line showing on the camera back, or the backup camera view, that's kind of what you need to imagine behind the ass end of this Victor 1. Switch to the Victor 1. Yeah, so his baffles, and he has no towed array. I'm going to assume they're a fairly narrow cone. He's still doing 10 knots, so he's not exactly being the stealthiest anyway. There we go. And I want to run this torpedo more southerly than this line because his course has changed slightly, but this is where I want the torpedo to run down. Now I'm only turning at 15 degrees. I'm not turning as hard as I could, and any submarine is a bit of a pig at 5 knots when it comes to maneuverability. I think we're going to just tell George, the autopilot, to get me pointing
Come right to 308, helm aye.
roughly northwest. So that's going to, yeah, it's immediately cranked on the rudder to 30 degrees, so as hard as she can turn, she's turning. Okay, now this Victor, he's still turning ever so slightly more north or more west to his current course. Well, his course is 244. 245, yeah, so he's still gradually turning. But maybe you want to modify this a little bit. Probably want to be... yeah. It will take, so my torpedo is still a little bit... it's not actually very...
Con, helm, steady course.
this is not very clear at all what I'm trying to do here. Let's try this. Delete these. So in dot mod, you can use the shift key and left or right click. I think left clicks green, I think right clicks red. Let's check. Yeah, it is. Okay, so I'm still a little bit north of that line, and the line is gradually shifting south, so I'm going to just go ahead and correct the torpedo. I need it to be below this imaginary line behind this Victor 1. Now I could violently turn the torpedo, and it does have 28 minutes left of runtime. You can see that bottom left little instrument panel box. But I would also like to kill this Victor sooner rather than later, before I start drawing a pension from the US Navy. That's hypothetical just in the game. So we're now passing the imaginary line. It's not a very straight line, David, but hey, it's as straight as it needs to be. Okay, now I'm going to just correct the torpedo, guide it a little bit more towards the target, like so. Let's accelerate time for just a few seconds, hopefully. Okay, so now, if and when he detects this this torpedo, and I think he will, he thinks it's going to be coming from a fairly easterly position of him. I'm going to go ahead and make the torpedo live. I'm going to push 4.
Con, fire control, weapon acquired.
Detected him immediately, and so this Victor 1 so far has no idea what's happening. Let's switch to the view from him. Yeah, and you know, it's unfortunate. He's 950 feet. He's below escape depth. He's not. None of his crew are likely to survive this. Right, let's skip a few seconds of time with accelerate time. There we go. So it's coming right at him. He hasn't reacted. I don't think he has any idea that it's there. Do I give him a warning by pinging sonar? No.
Con, sonar, lost contact. Sierra, 3, last bearing, 223, contact breaking up.
We remember the fallen. They're kind of sensed us, really. Okay. Right. Well, that is it's another submarine dispatch with, and I'm going to let that torpedo reload, and then we're going to get back to the strategic map and head towards sector 633. If the Russians keep sending attack boats to my vicinity and they keep detecting me, I feel I have no choice but to defend myself, even if that means sneaking up on them and clobbering them from behind. Because, you know, the game will have no mercy and will do the same to me. Right, I will go ahead and pause the recording, and I'll be back when we're on the strategic map. Yep, single lone Victor 1. So yet another submarine sunk. I have 20 Mark 48s left and 2 Mosses. I don't want to tangle with anything else. I did have 22. Right, and that means escaping these warships. Alright, I'm going to tack it north. Oh yeah, let's avoid this air patrol. Okay, typically the package is there. It's right there. There we go. And I think I've been detected. Oh yeah. Okay, here we go. So yet again, I'm going to change this a little bit. I want to get a Moss. I think I'm going to need one. In fact, I may just get both installed because I only have 2, and I'm likely to need at least 1 and possibly 2 fairly early on because I reckon I'm going to get detected. There's going to be air assets kicking around here as well. I really need to get a beeline on this SSBN. I think last time was a Delta 4, and I think it took 2 torpedoes to sink. So that gives me, well, it gives me 18 to spread around, spread some Mark 48 love. All right, let's go for it. So both Mosses loaded, all the torpedoes are set up for submerged contact. I will need to change that, but I want to prioritize anything that's submerged first. let's get right into it.
On sonar, new contact bearing.
Rig ship for ultra quiet.
I am way too shallow. And get my depth down. Yeah, let's get myself down to
Make
6.
depth 656 feet. Dive I.
650 feet will do it. Let's put it at 600. Okay.
Make depth 600 feet. Dive I.
Okay, so my first helicopter contact there. What is this? I would say that's a Cresta 2.
Con sonar, Sierra 1 is classified as escort.
Come right to 101 Helm I.
Okay, let's look at the airborne assets. So we know we've got, I'm guessing 2 helicopters. I think it's definitely 2, but let's take a look. A little dark, but there's number 1. There's number 2. Okay. Sea is fairly rough, so being at a shallower depth could be useful. Okay, now I'm going to suppose that the bad guys are somewhere around about where this Cresta 2 is. So let's accelerate time, and I'm pointing my nose towards him. It'll minimize his sonar detection of me, and I
On helm, steady course.
also reckon everything else is in that ballpark area. So let's accelerate time. Okay, now we know where he is.
Con sonar, new contact bearing 120. Designated.
Con. Dive at 600 feet. Dive I.
What is Sierra 2? Let's take a look. It's pinging actively, so might be surface warship, but
Con sonar, lost contact. Sierra 1, last bearing 096. Contact faded.
okay. It's a
Con
Utili.
sonar, Sierra 2 is classified as escort.
I would sing it. Utili. Both of those are nasty anti-submarine warfare ships. So it's a pretty safe bet that the primary target is in that vicinity. And he's closer.
Come right to
Ooh,
120
yeah.
Helm I.
Okay, this is why I wanted a Moss loaded.
Come
I'm gonna
right
go
to
ahead.
249 Helm I.
I'm gonna get a torpedo out at this guy. Yes, it's gonna reveal my location, and yes, then you can bite me because this guy's nasty and he's coming right at me. Okay. Yeah, he is in a big way. I think I want to maybe not turn so hard. Let's get my torpedo out, like so,
Shoot 2-1. Aye, sir.
and immediately divert the torpedo away from the target, just in case he heard that, and he maybe didn't, but I don't want to assume. And I'm going to run, I say run, I'm going to casually,
Come right to 240 Helm I.
just imagine me whistling. In fact, can you see me whistling here? Yeah, I am so whistling as we continue our turn. I'm giving him a broadside right now. That's not great because it's going to give him the maximum return. He's 5 decibels active sonar, so that 8 decibels. That's really bad news.
Come right to 2.
Let's get my speed up to 15 knots. It
for 15 knots. Maneuvering I.
will quicken my turn. He may have just got a good return on me there. That's 11 decibels. If he didn't know I was there.
Maneuvering, making turns for 15 knots.
Now he pretty much does. Okay, 8 decibels. He may have not got me again, but let's drop back down
Rig
to
ship for ultra quiet.
ultra quiet. So I don't know, I can't detect him
On
now,
helm, steady course.
but I pretty much know that this is his course. So this torpedo, I'm going to send this now
Con
east.
sonar, regained contact on Sierra 2, bearing 118.
He 9 decibels active sonar, so he's really close to knowing where I am. That he may have maybe something on the way to me already. But I've got something on the way to him already, and it's going to attack him from more or less the north-northwest. I mean, he's showing he's doing 8 knots, so I don't think he really knows I'm there right now. 10 knots. Oh dear. I think he's accelerating. He might have just detected the torpedo. 9 knots. No, maybe not. Okay. There he is. Hello, chumps. Let's see what's happening on board that warship, shall we? Oh yeah, that's not good. He is not going very quickly. Yeah, he's listening. Well, I got a surprise for you, Sunshine. It's got a Mark 48. And the other thing I'm going to do here is... There's a helicopter I can hear. Okay. Let's jump back to my submarine and then go back to the map view. This Mark 48...
Sonar, new contact bearing 064, designated Sierra 3.
It may have just done it. It's also going to spook anything else that happens to be in the vicinity. What I mean by that is, yeah, if you detect if you're in a submarine and you detect this, you're not going to really want to stick around. No, it's not. That looks like a crewback. Okay.
Con sonar, Sierra 3 is classified as escort.
He's some distance out. Maybe. Could it be submerged contact? I can just push F2 and take a look. Yeah, it's a submerged contact. Okay. So it's a surface contact even, right? So we're pretty sure that's a Crevac 1. I don't think that's a massive threat, but let's just take a quick look. Intermediate. Udaloy is a big threat. Crevac 1 is intermediate threat. 9,000 yards. This Udaloy, 6,000 yards is magic time for him. He can launch his rocket assisted depth charges, and we don't like those. Not only are they very embarrassing to get hit by one of those, they have a 6,000 yard standoff ability, plus he's got missiles as
sonar
well.
regained contact on Sierra 1, bearing 092.
The Udaloy can detect me with his active sonar. 12 decibels. So I'm going to start my attack run. I really want to take care of this guy. I don't need these anymore. I know where he is. I can detect him. He can detect me. The game is afoot. And of course he'll be radioing everything else. He's doing 3 knots. He knows where I am, but he'll be radioing in everyone else. This Crevac, 29 knots. Huh. He's not quite full speed, but not far off it. Utilize turning towards the torpedo. I'm gonna, seeing as he knows I'm here, I'm gonna basically turn south.
Come left to 180, helm I.
Gonna give him my flank, and I might run to 15 knots, but that really will let everyone know where I am. The Crevac is still accelerating. He's 30 knots. I think he's decided he left something up north. What's this Cresta 2 doing? 15 knots, okay. So the Udaloy is... I mean, is it right over that submarine? I don't know. Marine could be anywhere, but this torpedo is 2,000 yards, so I think I'm going to basically spook everything and just make the thing live. And let's put it to stay at the depth. Let's see what happens. Okay, so now the submarine is pinging, and the world is going to be like, oh, butt flaps, oh, poop sticks, oh gosh, this isn't very good. And hopefully this Udaloy will be like, yeah, I gotta get out of here. Maybe.
Sonar new contact bearing 048, designated
what is Sierra 4? Hello, Sierra 4, what are you?
Con sonar
Gosh.
new contact bearing 082, designated Sierra 5.
You appear to be
Con sonar, new contact bearing.
A Yankee, maybe.
3, designated Sierra 6.
Yeah, look at that. So by making this torpedo active, the whole world has just
Con, helm, steady course.
woken up. Oh, I think
Con sonar, noisemaker
Sierra
bearing
5.
1, 4.
I think Sierra 5 is maybe my primary target, because look, that's a Delta, and he's moving away. Right. Okay, you, a nice, kind torpedo, you have a new objective now. You can go and hunt that Delta, Sierra 6.
Con sonar, lost contact. Sierra 3, last bearing 0, 5, 0. Contact faded.
I think you're a diesel-electric boat.
Con sonar, Sierra 6 is classified as submerged submarine.
And I think Sierra 4 is the same.
Con sonar, Sierra 4 is classified as submerged submarine.
I caught you red-handed, but see where this Delta 4 was? He was sneaking around underneath the Eudaloid. The Eudaloid gave it away by being, I would say, the Eudaloid was whistling. And now I have a problem on my hands because the Eudaloid didn't sink him. He is heading. Oh, he's heading west. I'm gonna try and get this guy with a torpedo, and this is dangerous because. This is just dangerous. I really want to have wire guided on this. Utilize. He's turning away. Let's not engage right now. Let's just let Torpedo 1 do its work. I have Mosses ready. The Utili I don't think can detect me right now. Let's take a look at the Delta 4. So his maximum speed is 24 knots. Let's physically look at him. Oh, he's running on the surface. Why? Oh, he might be running at the surface so he can get, stay in radio communications.
Con sonar, regained contact on Sierra 3, bearing 0, 5, 0.
This is sort of endgame. I don't know what the depth of their, of its, nuclear tip missiles. So, yeah. I can maybe see why you might be running close to the surface, but sadly, the utilized torpedo is a US-80, but it's probably not going to attack anything else. But this Utiloi is coming right at me. Well, no, he's not coming right at me. He's close. If he slows down, he's going to detect me.
Con, fire control, weapon acquired.
Okay. I'm going to cut the wire on Torpedo 1. I'm going to point my nose towards the Utiloi.
131, helm aye.
Let's get my towed array retracted. Might need to run somewhere else soon, and let's oh, I'm so close to losing the wire on, or to cutting the wire on Torpedo 1, but I just want to hit this guy. I might sink him with one hit.
Con sonar, lost contact. Sierra 5, last
Oh.
bearing 0, 7, 1. Contact faded.
That's interesting. What happened to Sierra 5? Huh. He just went quiet on me. Okay. Does he have... He does. He has aneoic coating, which
Con,
means if
helm, steady course.
active
Con
sonar.
noisemaker bearing 0, 7.
Come right to 146, helm aye.
Active sonar is not the most useful, and it's not useful at all. It just alerts him to my presence, and that's what spooked him. So what I was trying to say earlier on before, everything happened at once. And to be fair, not everything did happen at once. I've tried to control this engagement this time. That by making my torpedo active, suddenly everything woke up and was like,
Con
oh.
sonar, noisemaker bearing 0, 6.
Con, helm, steady course.
This isn't very good. I'm going to watch. I really need to make sure this Utiloi doesn't... I am too close. Under 5,000 yards. If he detects me, I gotta manage this here real carefully. It's Delta 4 go. Okay. I mean, he was heading northwest, but he's gone. I'm gonna circle this torpedo. Where'd he go? Dang. Because of course the Krivak is a viable target for the torpedo. If it detects it, it will also go for it.
Con, fire control, weapon acquired.
Okay, he's down there. Wow.
Con sonar, noisemaker, bearing 065.
Okay. This is awkward, I suppose you might say. Because I don't know where this guy's gone. All right, well let's.
Fire control, weapon acquired.
Oh, he's dived deep. Okay. Can we see him yet? No.
Con sonar, noisemaker, bearing 0.
No, we can see his noisemaker though. It's actively ping just for a jiffy and then turn that off. Probably changed his depth. Let's have the torpedo circle.
Con, fire control, weapon
Okay.
acquired.
He went deep again.
Con sonar, noisemaker,
Wow.
bearing 064.
We got him. Well, we
Con
hit him.
sonar, lost contact. Sierra 4, last bearing 032. Contact faded.
But we can't see him. So, and of course my Todare's in, and that's probably why. Okay, you know what? Let's not worry about that right now. Let's get
Shoot 2-2. Aye, sir.
something out against that Udaloy. Let's reload that tube. Let's get my Todare out. Okay, so the Delta 4 has been hit, but not sunk. And that took some doing, and the Mark 48 is a very capable weapon system, and it still lost him several times. That happens. Time for a sip of coffee. So we may have just completed the campaign at this point. You only need to damage this, well, potentially damage. No, we may have potentially completed the campaign. If we damage the Delta 4, it may not be mission capable anymore, and so therefore it's not a threat. But I can't really assume that. And if this helicopter's getting awfully close. If I were the captain of the Delta 4, I might consider surfacing the boat, letting the crew escape, get myself to escape depth at the very least, because
Con, torpedo room, tube 1 ready.
because that way
Rig ship for ultra quiet.
the enemy might let me go. Might do. I'm a little exposed right now. I'm being boxed in, so to my southeast there's a Udaloy, very capable anti-submarine warfare platform. I've got a helicopter of some description, I think it was a Hookham, to my west-northwest. And I have a Krivak and a Cresta 2 to my east-northeast, and also to my north, somewhere out there is a Tango. Oh, there's another Tango down here. Both very quiet, capable submarines, diesel electrics no less. Let's put about 2,000 yards separation between myself and this Mark 48. That's designated for the Udaloy. I would love to turn more...
Con sonar, regained contact on.
Come left to 113. Helm aye.
love to turn more towards the Delta 4, because he's probably still able to move pretty quickly. But I'll be presenting a broadside to the Udaloy, and I don't want to do that. That said, what's its detection? Doing 35 knots, so... In fact, I may as well just send this torpedo to pursue, because this torpedo can do 45 knots, I think, in navigation mode. Let's see if I can check that. Okay. Oh, what is it? 45, 50, 40 knots. There's only a small overhaul. That's
Con,
okay.
helm, steady course.
That's okay. It's moving towards the Krivak and the Delta 4, so I can divert this torpedo to attack a submerged contact. Not a problem if I do. Could happily run to higher speeds, but I really want to get a better idea of where the Delta is. 6 knots. I would tell me he is struggling, or he's being sneaky, and perhaps both. Tempted to run this torpedo 2 at attack speed, but he's still got some distance to go, and that endurance might be a factor. I should really have marked where the Delta 4 was. I think he's probably somewhere in this box. Now, if I discovered that the Krivak was slowing down to pick up survivors from the submarine because he surfaced, fair enough, but this Krivak's doing 34 knots. He's up flying speed. They're for some weird reason they're upset. Let's take a look at the Krivak. Yeah, I can't think why he's upset. He's maneuvering hard as well. They've identified that there's a threat. Yeah. You think? Let's look at the Udaloy, because, hey, Udaloy, and I don't... wait, no. That's the Udaloy. Okay. He's plowing straight on, I think. I don't think he's maneuvering at all. No, he's plowing straight on. Again, at flank speed. Okay. Oh, there's the Delta. Hello. Oh, you're on the surface. I see, I kind of feel better about that now. You need to get your crew off, lad. And I imagine if I threaten this guy and he submerges, he is going to sink. So, you know what? This is the Soviets doing what they should do. A gaping great big hole in the side of that boomer. He's cavitating. He's running on the surface. We can't see it in the game, but right now his crew are getting on lifeboats. I'm telling myself this. His crew are getting on lifeboats, and they are evacuating. So this Krivak, I don't know why he's not helping out, but okay. Let's accelerate time for a little bit. Yeah, the Delta 4 is not 5 knots. I wonder if his engine's like... Maybe it's still running, but it's only running at a low power setting. And of course, I've got a lot of helicopters, helos around me. But anything surfaced, is this thing going to go for anything surface? This torpedo is going to go for anything surfaced. Let's just make it active. Like that. It's going to bob to the surface. Bob. Like so. I'm going to basically point it in this direction here, and then I'm going to cut the wire and reload a new one. Because I'm going to attack with another wire the Delta 4. But we want to maybe do this.
Shoot 2-1. Aye, sir.
I want to send the torpedo in my direction first, and we'll get a bit of separation here. Immediately lost. Torpedo 2. Did it die? Let's push F3 and take a look at weapons currently active. Okay, that's one. That's okay. It's not dead. It's just running on the surface. All right, there's just two, and that's my two. So that this first one, that's the one I've just launched. The second one is the one that's seeking a contact. Bit hard to see, but we will occasionally see it poking up, and oh gosh, look at that. Hello, chumps.
Con, torpedo room, tube 2 ready.
Right, let's go back to my boat. Let's go back to the map. Well,
Rig ship for ultra quiet.
well, ultra quiet run this. The Udaloy has slowed right down. Turns out that I was wrong with the box, but not a million miles away. You don't need a nuke to sink this guy now. Still 5 knots, 10,000 yards. On this torpedo more east. So this Udaloy should be taken care of.
Noisemaker bearing 077.
He's just detected that torpedo. Now I am a little concerned as to where these 2 tangos have gone. I don't necessarily need to sink them to complete the mission, but
Come right to 155. Helm I.
it would be remiss if I didn't.
Con sonar, noisemaker bearing 075.
Okay. I don't know
Con
if
sonar lost contact. Sierra 2, last bearing 074. Contact breaking up.
I was about to say, I don't know if it's worth watching the Udaloy and seeing if it gets sunk, but look at that. One less Russian anti-submarine warfare boat. Yeah, so part of me is like, don't bother going for the Tango because the war is now over. It's an unnecessary loss of life.
Come right to 215. Helm I.
I'm pretty convinced that the Delta is being evacuated, if not already. I'm gonna mosey on my way back west. Just casually stroll back that way. But let's finish off the job with the Delta 4. I don't need to kill everything, to sink everything today. And I'm not going soft.
Con, helm, steady course.
Soft, I suppose. Maybe soft is the wrong word, but I don't need to destroy everything. The Russians have lost the war. There's no need to, you know, just take soldiers and sailors following orders.
Con, fire control, weapon acquired.
We are, however, going to watch the Delta. Oh, he's detected that, so he's
Con sonar, noisemaker bearing 038.
okay. So he chose to, I imagine,
Con, fire control, weapon acquired.
to scuttle his boat because I think that's going to sink it. So the Mark 48 is still tracking him. Okay, guess we're going to watch this. I want to keep the sensors, sensor display showing because that
Con sonar, noisemaker bearing 037.
means the Mark 48 may also lose its track, but I think it's a pretty much done deal as far as this Delta 4 is concerned. If we somehow don't manage to take it out with this torpedo, if it's still functional afterwards, it's likely to be on its way down to Davy Jones' locker.
Con sonar, noisemaker bearing 036.
Right. That did fool the torpedo, but I think I can guide it back.
Con sonar lost contact. Sierra 5, last bearing 035. Contact breaking up.
And that is the end of that. Okay, well, I was hoping for a nice clean exit, but it looks like
Come right to 251. Helm I.
the Krivak has decided, and the Cresta 2 have decided that actually they want vengeance. And like, really guys, I mean, do you need to do this? But they are.
Shoot 2-2. Aye, sir.
So, reluctantly, I'm going to have to sink these guys because they're coming right at me. They've detected the torpedo launch.
Torpedo room, tube 1 ready.
The Krivak, it seems, can't detect anything right now. The Cresta 2 can't detect anything up. Is that because they're moving up flank?
Con, helm, steady course.
See, they're not rushing to collect sailors off the Delta 4. They're rushing to attack me, and I don't like that. That's just unnecessary. So, yep, you're gonna have. I wonder what I might do is actually engage the Cresta 2 with this one, and the Krivak one. I'll do one that's essentially not so much unguided. I just don't need to guide it all the way in. Okay, let's get this torpedo. I'm going to accelerate time a little bit. Wait, what's the range of the Krivak? 13,000 yards, okay. So I think he's got 6,000 yard rocket assisted depth charger. Yes, he does. RBU 6,000, okay. So yeah, I don't really want to let him get within 6,000 yards, but let's accelerate time. Like so. He's gaining very quickly, because he's a fast warship. This Cresta 2 is not moving quite so quickly. 15 knots, okay. Well, I was hoping to sort of circle around this torpedo, but I am gonna engage, make torpedo 2 active now, because that 11,000 yards will be 6,000 yards before I can shake a fist, and I don't like getting depth charged after I've concluded what should be concluded the battle. So let's accelerate time here.
Con sonar
Okay.
regained contact on Sierra 6, bearing 106.
What just fired upon me? That is... I guess the fight's not out of
Come
them
left
yet.
to 180. Helm I.
This Tango was loitering around here, and I think he just launched. And if he launched at this torpedo, I am right behind it. Where'd he go? Where'd he go? Oh, wait, is he? No. No. Surely I would have detected his torpedoes coming towards me. Maybe. Maybe. In the words of Han Solo, I got a bad feeling about this. But I don't want to give my position away. Do we think he can detect? Oh, he's pinging me actively now, and he's running away. So I don't think he really knows where I am. He's just firing, but 4,000 yards, yeah, he's close potentially. If he's running away, I can fire a torpedo at him, which would be great. I can't wire guide it. I think that's what I'm going to do.
Steady course.
We think he's 5,000 yards now. But I don't have a good solution, so I'm just going to sit
Con,
this one
fire
out.
control, weapon acquired.
Krivak is now under direct threat from that torpedo. It's acquired him, so the Krivak might take a couple of evades, but pretty much I think that he's a goner. The Cresta 2 is still coming right at me, but a lot slower, and I don't think I hit the Cresta 2. I don't think he's damaged. I think what I want to do is get yeah, this Tango 2 is okay, he's changed course. Let's cut the wire on torpedo 2 number 2. Let's basically reload, does the same thing, like so, and let's get a torpedo out towards this Tango, who is...
Shoot 2-1. Aye, sir.
let's just say...
Con sonar lost contact. Sierra 6, last bearing 105. Contact faded.
See, now he's gone dark. Oh, that's really not good.
Make turns for 20 knots.
Yeah, that's very bad news. Okay. This just got unpleasant. What depth is this guy? Okay, he's on the surface. That's useful,
Con,
but...
fire
Hang it.
Con maneuvering, making turns for.
I lost the
Make
wire.
turns for 30 knots. Make
My
turns.
speed to...
Con sonar. Torpedo in the water. Torpedo in the water. Bearing 089.
Okay, well the good news is that the Krivak's had it, but the bad news is that I'm under attack, which is...
Con, torpedo room, tube 2 ready.
I mean, I've had worse news. but not much worse than this. It doesn't get much worse than this, so thank goodness I
Con
was...
sonar lost contact. Sierra 1, last bearing 072. Contact is in the baffles.
Thank goodness I was indecisive about whether I should do 20 or 30 knots.
Con, knuckle formed.
Okay, well, my thought process there was if I'm doing 20 knots, I can at least get a moss out. But
Con sonar regained contact on Sierra 1, bearing 072.
But if I'm doing 30 knots, it allows me to put a bit more of a distance between me, so he's turning back towards me. I think,
Con, knuckle formed.
I believe Tango's carrying USS-80s. I'm pretty sure that they do, and that's a nasty weapon. Not as good as a Mark 48, but
Con, knuckle formed.
not an easy easy weapon to evade.
Con, torpedo room, tube 1 ready.
I can knuckle it
Con,
away
knuckle formed.
almost indefinitely. But there's a chance that Ivan here has fired a second one. I just didn't detect it, or I didn't hear it.
Con, knuckle formed.
Now I'd love to get a little closer to the Tango and lead this weapon back to
Con
him.
sonar regained contact on Sierra 6, bearing 0. Con sonar launch transient from Sierra 6.
But there's also a Mark 48 on the way, and I don't know that the Mark 48 has he's detected
knuckle formed.
the Tango yet, because he's still capable of firing a torpedo at me. So, what can we know about the Tango? Not much. If he really is 2,500 yards away, that means my Mark 48 may be 2,500 yards away as well, and that is not good.
Con, knuckle formed.
Because that thing will bite me as soon as it will bite anything else. Now it is possible to lead this thing astray, the USS-80, and guide it back
Con
towards
sonar.
Con, knuckle formed.
the Tango, but it's not guaranteed. And if I have to defeat
Con sonar regained contact on Sierra 1, bearing 0.
Con, knuckle formed.
if I have to defeat a Tango and a Mark 48 and the USS-80, that's not really what I'm looking forward to doing. Okay.
Con sonar lost contact.
Con, knuckle formed.
Yeah, so the Tango is being targeted by at something, and hopefully my Mark 48. But I am not. I'm not. Didn't relish this.
Passing 600 feet.
Okay, so we turn hard towards it. I've reduced my depth
Passing
to.
500 feet.
We're going to go
Con
for about
sonar
400
regained.
feet.
Con sonar, we are cavitating.
Yep, we know.
Passing
That's okay.
400 feet.
That's okay. So I want to get a bit of distance here. It's still going to detect me, but hopefully that noisemaker will distract it. I don't think it'll do it another time, but it might. And I am cranking on. Okay.
Con sonar lost contact. Sierra 6, last bearing 092.
Right.
Contact breaking up.
I got the Tango, which is good, which means the Mark 48 is no longer
Con, knuckle formed.
a big concern for me, because I'm hoping that the Mark 48 took a bite out of that Tango. However, it's possible it didn't and something else got it. There's a Crester out there as well. So, yeah. Just when I thought that this was all over.
Con, knuckle formed.
My depth down to 650, I think.
Depth 650 feet. Dive high.
And then I want to try and evade this thing. Oh, look at that! There's another torpedo to my south.
Con, knuckle formed. Passing 5.
Con sonar, no longer cavitating.
Con, knuckle formed.
Okay, what I'm trying to do is steady my depth here, which I think I've managed to do. 525 feet. And I'm going to have to just jostle these two torpedoes. If the southern torpedo detects the noise, okay, noisemaker's just dropped off. It might cause it to circle, and if it starts to circle, it may decide to detect me, and if it decides to detect me, that's very bad news. Now, what I'm doing right now is risky. I'm turning to, okay, it's played off. I'm turning towards the torpedo. I'm closing the distance in the hope that it turns the opposite way, which it did. So now I'm going to basically gentle turn to port, hard turn to starboard in a few seconds. So around about now, I'm going to head straight due north, and that's, I overshot a little bit, but that's okay. Okay, now he decided to turn back west, so we're going to turn easterly. So, and then mid-turn I'm going to basically turn back roundabout now. Give him another knuckle and throw him off, and I'm going to run in a straight line. Which way is he going to turn? If he turns back towards me, I'm in trouble if he turns towards me, but he didn't, so
Knuckle formed.
trying to do is time my knuckles so that when he turns around, when the torpedo turns around to face me, he sees the knuckle, and I was too soon there. So you see immediately that the knuckle
formed.
dissipated, the torpedo is tracking me again. I could attempt to go up towards the surface and try and lead him back to this warship, the Cresta, which is slowly heading my way.
Knuckle formed.
But I don't think I need to. And there's another Tango to my north as well. I hadn't forgotten about him. Just because I don't detect him doesn't mean he's not looped back and coming right at me. Because it's certainly what I would do if I was in something quiet and sneaky.
Knuckle formed.
And of course, he's likely able to observe this entire thing panning out with this torpedo hunting me. Okay, turn away, thank you.
Knuckle formed.
Now turning back towards him, I'm hoping that this thing turns south. If it doesn't, I'm going to rapidly reduce my depth. Okay, it did. Great. It's got me running north. Yes, there we go. I'm going to turn slight to port and then round about now. Hard to starboard.
Knuckle formed.
Might have been a bit soon. I think it was a bit soon. Oh, maybe not. Okay, there's a helicopter to my west. Great. So I'm trying to run perpendicular to its original course. Again, more or less. It starts to turn north. As it sweeps through north, I'm going to then start to turn... Okay, it went. It blew up. Okay.
Rig ship for ultra quiet.
Let's get my speed down.
Make turns for 0 knots.
So I
Maneuvering
just reversed my...
Make turns for 5 knots. Maneuvering I.
Just reversed my screw direction for just a little bit because I wanted to get my speed off as quickly as I could. Okay, this Cresta 2, I didn't really want to tackle it, but I'm going to.
Shoot 2-1. Aye, sir.
Because he's too much of a threat. He can't detect me.
Maneuvering. Making turns for 5 knots.
He can't detect me right now, but that's not to say he won't be able to detect me at some point. So let's get my depth gently down to 700 feet. I'm going to accelerate time again.
Passing 600 feet.
Okay. That's roughly 700 feet.
Passing
Now,
700 feet.
okay, now pointing this torpedo north, it's going to do two things. One, it gets it away from me, gives a bit of separation. When it starts the attack run, I'm actually going to point my nose towards this cresta to minimize my active sonar
Come
profile.
left to 066, helm I.
I'll show you what I mean. Let's move to my submarine view. So his view of me right now is more like this. As given the size of the hull facing him, when I've concluded the maneuver, he'll be seeing this, which is much smaller now. Broadside is that's a pretty big cross section. Sonar cross section, I suppose you might say. Bit like radar cross section, but obviously sonar. Anyway, what I was saying, yeah, so pointing this torpedo north, it might spook the Tango. I don't know where the Tango is, and he may have bugged out. He may have decided, this is too much for me.
Con, helm, steady course.
We've lost the Delta IV, there's no point in me continuing the battle. Or he might be sneaking around somewhere, maybe in sort of this area, having just watched what's gone on, and he's waiting his opportune moment to attack me. But this torpedo, if he is in that direction, if he's due north of me, that is going to, it might spook him. I'm not running it active. I don't particularly want the Cresta 2 to be aware of this just yet. I'm now turning it east, and we're going to intercept it. Probably make it live close to the wreck of the Krivak and the Udaloy. So let's accelerate time for a little bit. Okay, that last Russian torpedo has disappeared. I'm actually going to run it active a little sooner. That was good. So what we've done here is we've put the torpedo on an intercept course. I'm a little further south of it, but that's okay. It should still detect him, and it's now running on the surface. Let's just double check that. Yep, it is. Okay, so F5 gives me the condition screen, and it shows the depth of that torpedo selected. So the Cresta 2 is just about entering the torpedo's estimated detection cone. The torpedo won't detect it immediately, but when it does, it will turn towards it, and this is a down-the-throat maneuver.
Con, fire control, weapon
There we go.
acquired.
Pretty much down the throat. Now the Cresta 2 may not detect the torpedo coming towards it. I suspect it will, but if it doesn't, it's a head-on shot. And I want to watch this as much as I can. Now meanwhile, I'm pointing my nose almost directly at the Cresta 2. In fact, I'm actually going to just turn my bow a little bit. Oh, they launched at something. Okay. Possibly launched in the direction of the torpedo, so I should be okay, but I don't want to change my aspect ratio. So let's switch to the Cresta 2. So yeah, he's a lot of angle dangle there. What I mean by that is he's turning pretty hard. Let's zoom out.
Con sonar, noisemaker, bearing 062.
I kind of want to switch back to the map view. Okay. And yeah, where did my mini-map go? That's disappointing. Okay, let's manually guide the torpedo, turn it south towards the target,
control, weapon acquired.
and let's look at the target. This thing is right behind it. It's very, very close, so I should see it blow up.
Con sonar, lost contact. Sierra 1, last bearing 065. Contact breaking up.
I think that was timed just about perfectly, don't you think? Okay, well, there is an active torpedo, so I can't loiter watching this for so long. Let's jump back here, jump back here, jump back to my view. Yeah. So, let's reload that torpedo for what it's worth, and we know that there is an active torpedo in the water. I can't detect it, so I'm going to turn away.
Come right to 136, helm I.
Put my broadside to where this torpedo is. I'm hoping it was pointing fired towards the Krivak. We'll accelerate time for a little bit. I don't detect it.
Con, torpedo room 2.
Con, helm, steady course.
Okay, there it is. Okay, so not an issue right now.
Come left to 039, helm I.
I'm going to turn east now. Hopefully this
Con, helm, steady course.
tango is bugged out. Don't make me hunt the last Soviet submarine game. We don't need to.
Passing 800 feet.
Oh no.
Passing 800 feet. Passing 700 feet.
Wow.
Passing 600 feet.
That was very, very close. Okay, what I must have done at some point...
Passing 600 feet.
Am I damaged? Why am I sinking? Okay, at some point I must have told the submarine to dive and didn't detect it. I hit accelerate time and I was 800 feet. That exceeds the test depth. I nearly lost the boat through my own stupidity then. Wow. And bad news, because the last torpedo has gone off detection and I cannot disengage, which therefore means that there's either a submarine or an air contact that's close enough. I can actually check this, but I'm not going to. I'm going to go ahead and head roughly
Come
towards
left
where the
to
tango is.
349, helm I.
Yeah, I am diving. Why am I diving? Have I lost trim?
Con, helm.
Passing 700 feet.
Did I see that
Passing 700 feet.
my pumps were damaged?
Passing 700 feet.
Damage control parties. Lay to the engine room.
What's going on? Yeah, that's right, because I
600 feet. Dive by.
told my depth to be 650 feet.
Con, dive at 600 feet. Dive by.
Okay, we're not sinking again, so that's good. Okay, that's I'm going to put that down as a maintenance request. Can we check the ballast and the pumps? Wow, I got so close to losing my boat there. And we can't disengage, so something is out there. I'm going to switch to F4 and see if we can see where these helicopters are, because I was hoping to go home. All right, let's quickly switch. Doesn't really tell me where it is. Well, there are still two of them. I'm gonna hope of seeing anything. It's so dark. Okay, well, that was very nerve-wracking when I nearly lost my boat.
Rig ship for ultra quiet.
We nearly imploded. That would have been very, very unfortunate. And I don't know where this tango has gone, so he could be anywhere. He really could be right behind me, and I may not even know about it. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording. I'm going to turn my direction.
Come left to 269, helm I.
I'm going to head west, and I'll run accelerate time. No point in it.
Helm, steady course.
No point in everyone watching me just gently cruise west casually. So I'll be back if anything interesting happens. Well, that got his attention.
Rig ship for ultra quiet.
Come left to
Oh.
233, helm I.
That's bad.
Make turns for 20 knots. Maneuvering.
Okay, so what did I do? Well,
Maneuvering, making turns for 20 knots.
what I basically
Sonar, launch transient from Sierra, Bore.
did.
Sonar, lost contact. Sierra, Bore. Last bearing, 1, Bore, 5. Make turns for. Con sonar, we are cavitating.
Was ran west at 20 knots for a period of time, and this tango detected me, and almost
Fire control. Weapon acquired.
immediately fired. And now he's just panic firing a
Depth
whole bunch of
700
torpedoes.
feet. Dive by.
I got a bad feeling about this. I might just go ahead and just use one of those mosses that I
Emergency, maneuvering on. Con sonar, no longer cavitating.
was saving for a rainy day,
Shoot 2-3.
just in case I need it.
Maneuvering, making turns for. Make turns for 30 knots. Maneuvering I.
Okay. Oh, hopefully my Mark 48 is going to find its mark, but right now this Tango has fired, I'm guessing, about a dozen. No, maybe not. Maybe it's just six torpedoes in my general direction. And, yeah, wow. I mean, that's probably to be expected because I did deliberately provoke him by I couldn't detect him. And it's either, do I run at 20 knots and see if I can pick him up, or via him detecting me and firing, or do I use active sonar?
Dive at 700 feet. Dive high.
Let's take a look at him. I don't see how many...
Torpedo room, tube 1 ready.
I don't see how many torpedoes he's got, but I think he's dead.
Con sonar lost
Kaboom.
contact. Sierra 4. Last bearing 119. Contact breaking up.
You should have let me go. You should have let me go and gone back to port. And that's what you get.
Guns maneuvering, making turns for 30 knots.
Now I've got to deal with your 6 torpedoes heading my way. Thanks very much for that. I really appreciate it. Okay. Let's switch back to the map view. Let me see. So that torpedo, what happened there? I don't really know what happened there. Was that air launched maybe? Let's look for submarines.
Con, torpedo room, tube 3 ready.
I don't know what happened there, but maybe it was. I mean, maybe somehow it realized it couldn't reach me and went for my Moss instead. But I don't know what happened. And what I do know is that I am not going to slow down to find out. Okay, that's 2 active torpedoes. There's several others out there. Let me go ahead and turn south, or a little bit more south. I change my aspect ratio, I might get a better detection on anything that's potentially coming up behind me. Nothing? Okay, I guess we'll drop to ultra silent
Rig shift
after
for ultra
all.
quiet.
Ultra quiet. Now that Moss may have been very useful. There's something else out there though. There's something else.
Con sonar new contact bearing.
Whoa!
099. Designated Sierra 7.
What? Where did you come from and how long were you stalking me for? Huh. That must be another Tango. So there were 2 out there the whole time. I say that because its signature looks very much like a Yankee.
Con sonar Sierra 7 is classified as submerged submarine. Con
Wow.
sonar lost contact. Sierra 7.
Okay, I lost you almost immediately.
Helm right to 185.
So we
Helm
don't
high.
really know where you are, but okay. So there were lots of torpedoes fired, but from multiple submarines. Well, that makes a bit more sense, but good grief, that was a very nasty surprise. I wish I could say I was glad I ran west at 20 knots now, but you know what? I'm really not.
Con, helm, steady course.
I can't detect this guy either. I mean, he's using his active sonar, but other than that, I kind of can't hear him. I mean, I can now. Well, I can hear his sonar, but... Oh, wow. I believe I was saying probably 2 hours ago, hey, just be mindful that you can't always detect everything, but hey, I'm on top of that game. Yeah, it turns out I'm not. 54% solution, and we reckon he's 12,000 yards away, so...
Con sonar lost contact. Sierra 7. Last bearing 100. Contact faded.
And I guess when he disables his active sonar, we don't know where he is. Okay. Just when you think it's all over, it's not.
Con sonar regained contact on Sierra 7, bearing 099.
We don't think he can detect me though at this range, so but that might be. I don't think he's 35,000 yards away though. Okay, I'm gonna point my nose towards him. Maybe he really is 35,000 yards, and if that's the case, then
Helm left to 103. Helm I.
he's not really a threat. I'm gonna accelerate time, and we'll see
Con
what.
sonar lost contact. Sierra 7, last bearing 100.
Con, helm, steady course.
That's more like it.
Con sonar lost contact. Sierra 7, last bearing 101. Contact faded. Con sonar regained contact on Sierra 7, bearing 102.
It's all gone quiet. Okay, where are you, buddy? Where are you, sir? How am I going to flush you out? I can ping you actively and see if I can detect you, but my sonar's probably not as good as yours. I'm going to keep heading in your direction. Sometimes you can use the sonar to ping someone, and they'll head towards the sonar ping, but he was heading southeast. Now that he was heading southeast, it doesn't mean he's heading southeast now.
Come right to 129. Helm I. Con, helm, steady course.
We point more southeast because at least that way there's a bit more of my towed array in his general direction. He's still close enough that we can't disengage. Okay, there goes the moss. I have one moss left. I think that moss was very helpful in that engagement because I felt like I was caught with my shorts at my ankles. Okay, and nothing. I think I'm going to do the thing that we never do, except I do it sometimes. I'm going to use my active sonar. At least give me an idea of if he's still in that direction or not. So here goes.
Con sonar switching to active search.
Come right to 180. Helm I.
Make depth 550 feet, dive I.
Alright, so I changed my course on my depth at the same time. Nothing. Trying to run perpendicular to him to give my towed array the best chance of detecting. One more ping and I'm going to turn it off. Okay, still nothing.
Con sonar switching to passive search.
So he's probably running away from me, and if that's the case, then at least he won't be able to maybe detect me. Let's go ahead and run southwest. Yeah, that was a bit of a
Come
frantic.
right to 235. Helm I.
A few minutes. I'm going to just I'll keep the towed array out. I'm going to run to 20 knots. It's going to make me deaf, but if he's still stalking around me, he may fire upon me. And I'm likely at the can the tangos do 20 knots? 15, yeah. So I'm going to run away from him. Maybe I'll do 15 knots then. So he can't overhaul me if I'm doing 20 knots, but he can keep up if I'm doing 15, and I might hear him. Right, let's go.
Make turns for 15 knots. Maneuvering I.
I'm going to just watch my depth.
Dive at 550 feet, dive I.
Okay. Make sure that we don't sink again, because that could have been really, really unfortunate. Okay, let's go. So far, nothing. As expected. And if he's running away from me, we're just going to double the distance if he's doing, give or take, if he's doing 15 knots. He'll eventually turn around and come back at me, probably, though he should really decide to go home. Okay. Just drop out of accelerate time. I'm going to go ahead and
Come left to 110. Helm I.
turn east-southeast. And I'm going to drop to ultra quiet in a few seconds. Traveling at 15 knots. In fact, just do it now.
Rig ship for ultra quiet.
Traveling at 15 knots does help how quickly you can turn a lot. And let's accelerate time a little bit, and we'll see if we detect anything. I don't expect to.
On helm. Steady course.
Still nothing. Okay, and let's ping. See if he's turned around. See if he's re-engaged.
Con sonar, switching to active search.
Still nothing. Okay. One more ping. Okay. Pass. Oh, there we go. Right. So we know you're somewhere.
Con
Ah,
sonar,
there you
regain
are.
Contact on Sierra 7, bearing 093. Con sonar, switching to passive search.
10,000 yards. Right. Let's get this on the way.
Shoot 2-1. I
Con sonar, lost contact. Sierra 7, last bearing 093. Contact.
Come right to 174. Helm I.
Okay, so 48 knots. 40 knots, right. So I don't particularly want to be doing 5 knots, but I want to be doing 20 knots. I guess I'm going to run to 15 knots. 15 knots is the fastest that I can run and get, and I say guarantee, but should be able to keep a wire on my torpedo. So we'll run to 15 knots.
Turns for 15 knots. Maneuvering I.
And I'm heading south, perpendicular to his torpedo course. I think he may have fired a couple, so there's a spread.
Maneuvering. Making turns for 15 knots.
He's probably expecting me to do 15 knots as well, and if that's the case, then I may still have a problem in a few minutes. But I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording, and I actually pause the game and grab some coffee. This battle's been going on for a while and it's not over yet. But I will pause the recording and I'll be back when this torpedo's gone a little closer. This is going to be another one of those. I'm going to make this torpedo active, see if I can spook him, and probably have a follow-up torpedo also be on the way. But that's to come after I've paused and unpaused, so it'll be a jiffy for you. Okay, good news. So a short period of time ago, we detected...
Con sonar, regained contact on Sierra 7, bearing
Okay.
079.
So a short period of time ago, we detected that torpedo going active. He's just fired. He looks like he's barely moved. So I don't think I need to worry about running my torpedo active or not.
Fire control. Weapon acquired.
I just made it active, and it's already detected him. But he's
Con
fired.
sonar, noisemaker, bearing 077.
But he's fired again
Fire control. Weapon acquired.
at me. So I'm going to go ahead and turn a little bit easterly.
Come left to 163. Helm I.
I'm going to run perpendicular. Now his torpedo can be wire guided, so it's possible that he'll be guiding this through.
Helm. Steady course.
But as he maneuvers, that wire might break. Now, my torpedo can still detect him even though I can't. I'm still moving at 15 knots. I'm not going to slow down right now. We might just see him blow up here. But again, we might not.
Con sonar, noisemaker,
Okay.
bearing 072.
There we are. Well, now you should have just let me go again. That was just so unnecessary. Okay. In the words of a good friend of mine, cool story, bro, but I got someone else to go and do. Okay. Let's switch back to the map. Let's view here. Now, I know there's another torpedo tracking it some way towards me, so I'm going to retrieve the towed array. Run it up to 20 knots.
Make turns for 20 knots. Maneuvering aye.
And I think turn a little more towards it.
Making turns. Come left to 134. Helm aye.
I don't know where this torpedo is, but I know it's heading my way. Okay, let's accelerate time, and let's see if... got the trail of destruction. I did not need or mean to kill everything. Anyway, let's accelerate time. So there's one I've detected, but there's another one, I think. Okay, let's see.
Con, torpedo room, tube 1 ready.
That seems to be it. I'm going to go ahead and just drop to ultra quiet.
Rig ship for ultra quiet.
I'm not going to forcefully decelerate the boat. I'm just going to let her slow down by herself. And my towed array is deployed, so our detection's not as good as it could be. But a torpedo is usually pretty noisy. Let's turn a little bit more easterly. Maybe make it like 115 or something degrees. Okay. Bit more accelerate time, as it might still be coming towards me, and my bow sonar is more sensitive than my flank sonar. So let's give that a few seconds and accelerate time. Nothing. I think that was it. Don't know where the other torpedoes went, but okay. Oh, such unnecessary destruction. But they kind of forced my hand. That was 3 tangos. So 3 submerged escorts, 3 surface escorts, and then the actual Delta IV itself. And I think the Delta IV was maybe the first to get sunk. First to be destroyed, and then I might have got the Utiloi before then, but either way, I didn't need to go ahead and rampage through everything, and it wasn't my intention. Right, we can disengage. So, this should mark the conclusion of the 1984 campaign in USS Scamp, in the Skipjack class boat. So, let's go ahead and close this and see where we're at. Okay, we got everything, which we know. I only used 8 torpedoes, and there were 7 targets. Of course, the Delta IV took 2, so that was really clinical, efficient use of torpedoes there, David. That went way better than the last time. Way, way better. Okay, January 25th, 1985 at 1800 hours. Let's hit continue. Excellent job at intercepting and destroying this critical target. We owe you and your crew a big time. New orders to be issued shortly on this downlink. I didn't know Sandy was in this video. But alright. Red Rebellion. Okay, so tens of thousands of protesters, mostly in the Corsica, Latvia and Estonia region, have spilled onto the streets demanding democratic elections and an end to the war with the West. Okay. This is the end. Well, it's the end for the war. It's not the end of the Soviets, of the Russians. Okay, so the destabilization has trickled up the front line. Lots of defections from the east across to the west, and yeah, let's see what's next. Soviet Union collapses. The war with the West has come to an end. Okay. NATO forces move quickly, regrouped, regained lost ground, all the way to the old borders. and were attempting to contain the volatile situation in the former USSR. Unexpected end comes to a shock to the analysts who admit the power of the people has been grossly overlooked. And there we go. And here's how well it went. So 60 days at war, 2 solid months, just 22 missions. But in those 22 missions, I sunk 70 submarines, 9 merchant vessels. I'm sure they were all planned. 3 capital ships, and 11 other warships. I think those capital ships, did that include a carrier in that campaign? I think it did. Total tonnage 536,895. I think that's my highest for the 84 campaign. And we're considered a war hero. Okay, great. It's not really something I'd necessarily want to celebrate, but great. I imagine that the effects of the war will have an impact on Commander Numpty and his crew for the rest of their lives, and probably on their family and loved ones too. Right, well that concludes the campaign. So here we got the Cold Water credits. Okay, that went a lot better than last time. I guess I was in a better place. I was more measured, more reflective, more contemplative. I didn't particularly want to sink everything, and I think probably last time I tried too hard. Maybe I think there's a dose of luck in here as well with the positioning of how things happen. But when I revisited and relooked at the final mission, we did so much better. Anyway, this is probably going to be one of the longer videos on the channel, at least excluding those 4-hour parked truck videos, which you should definitely check out because they were a lot of fun to put together too. I hope that you enjoyed this and you got something from it, and I tried to take my time and explain what I was doing and how it was happening and so on and so forth, but hey, if I got anything wrong, let me know. I hope that you enjoyed it. Hope you got something from this. You can like if you did. If you didn't like it, you can dislike. You can subscribe for more adventures. But most of all, again, thanks for hanging out with me. Hope you have a great day. Take care, everyone. Goodbye.